So I'd definitely like to say my help, Dita Ritz, and the other help I had, Latrice Royale.
When I first saw this sketch on Drag Race, I thought two things. I've met thousands of people that have treated me like the help, so it's factual, where's the lie? And two, the very people calling Fifi a bigot for saying this are the same people that would treat me like the help. So hypocritical. From my extensive observation and talking to my fellow black brothers and sisters, there's a certain behaviour pattern to white people that treat myself and other black people like the help. They will start by telling you how intimidated they were by you when they first met you, but now they know you, you're not so bad. Then, instead of getting to know you, they will start telling you stories of black people that you don't know and you've never met. They've met about 24 black people. I've met about 100,000 white people. What is their point? The moment you are helpful in any way to these people is the moment that you have volunteered to be the help. They require two qualities from the help. One is nurturing and caring. Two is protection and defending.
You is kind, you is smart, you is important.
Oh, bullshit! You are such a bald asshole. I can't even begin to...
You talking to? Don't nobody talk to my man like that. You better get your ass out of my house.
They believe a black person should only be outspoken when they are defending somebody white. Otherwise, that black person is a villain, a bully, or uncivilized. Case in point, this legendary argument from Drag Race.
That's something I
In their minds, you should never be arguing with a white person unless you are defending another white person. It's very much unspoken behaviour. They will assume you will know how to act correctly and decently.
Ma'am?
Ma'am? Oh, did I hear you say ma'am? Oh, no. We can't have that in this household. Now, from now on, I want you to call her Carol and me Maud. Now, what shall we call you?
Mrs. Evans.
And that is a look of white disappointment when you have been given a role which we are not talking about openly and you are not playing your part. So, what's this got to do with Drag Race? Well, everything. I've been watching Drag Race since season 1 and I've paid particular attention to storylines, especially storylines given to queens of colour and the black queens. And I've found a particular trend in the storylines. Unless you are very, very young or very, very old, you will know that reality TV shows like Drag Race are not organic, and when you sign a contract, you sign your rights over to having a story producer that produces your storyline.
Ladies, we're still filming a TV show. I know you guys are stressed out. You don't want to talk, but we're still filming a TV show. You need to talk. And they kept telling me they want drama, they want drama, they want drama. So I went to go pee, and I come back, and before I walk into the workroom, sometimes they'll stop us, and they'll say, hey, can you go talk to so-and-so about this or whatever?
And that is the role of a story producer. They are the unseen participants, which means they're participating, but you at home don't see them. And another thing about story producers is that they're usually white. And they come with their own biases about black people and people of colour.
And how the Sam Hill do you expect to have a discussion if all points of view are not taken into consideration?
Well, reality TV is not supposed to be fair. You sign a contract giving the production the right to create a story for you, whether it be good or bad. While you give them the right to play God, they are human people and they bring to your storyline their own biases, bigotry, and prejudices. The storyboard for Black Queens is pretty simple. If you show traits of being a nurturer or a defender and you're non-intimidating to the white story producers so they can leave their mom with you or members of their family, you will not get a villain's edit. And if you do the exact opposite, you will get a villain's edit. Story producers don't mind if you intimidate people on their behalf, but they don't want to be intimidated by you. Outspoken black queens that they can't see compromising will always be cast as villains regardless of how far they reach in the competition. And black queens that aren't necessarily intimidating to them or outspoken, but they just don't show enough of those positive black traits, are given a storyline where they are egocentric, boring, or weird.
I mean, you don't walk like you're supposed to, you don't talk like you're supposed to, you don't even know how to serve a julep like you're supposed to. You educated or something?
While on the surface they profess to be very woke, deep down they're incredibly colonial. Milan versus Willem. During season 4 and the boat challenge, the storyline for Milan was she was insane, and her crime was she had written her name on the boat, and that was egocentric to the point that she needed to be committed.
Crazy black lady. Every reality show has a crazy black lady, including mine.
Whereas Willem gave the production the middle finger by covering his boat in 300 stickers of himself. He didn't even show the boat. He showed off his outfit and then walked off stage. While Willem had a very strained relationship with production, he wasn't bound like Milan with his personality. A lot of white people, including story producers on RuPaul's Drag Race, don't realise that there is the same amount of variety in black people's personalities as there are in white people's personalities. And because a black person doesn't tick enough black traits in the boxes that they have created for us, doesn't mean they're mad. It means that the creator of those boxes is delusional. The strange case of Latrice Royale. It wouldn't be remiss of me to speculate that production were most likely petrified when they first saw Latrice.
Changed the world of drag forever.
But Latrice was magical. He ticked the boxes of the ideal black person. Being a nurturer and a defender. Of course, there was more to Latrice than this, but they didn't care.
Large and in charge, chunky yet funky.
Wow.
Bold and beautiful, baby. Get those nuts away from my face.
Latrice had a beautiful edit on season 4. But when Latrice arrived on All Stars 4, the production felt there was something different.
And where did that coat come from? Who told you to wear that?
You're all glitter. Oh, you know sequins don't suit you.
Latrice hadn't really changed at all. They just didn't get to know Latrice that well. Moreover, Latrice was thinking about Latrice. That meant he wouldn't be putting people like them first, and that made them a little bit miffed.
When you were giving your reasoning for sending me home, that it was disingenuous and that it wasn't the real whole truth. And that's just being real. I ain't even gonna lie. Because bitches here are still trying to get at my level.
Hello.
In life.
And the other help I had, Latrice Royale.
Fifi may have called Latrice to help in a sketch, but production definitely treated Latrice like uppity help throughout All Stars 4. Latrice's ambition, drive and focus was seen to be a negative trait in a black person.
Crazy black lady. Every reality show has a crazy black lady, including mine.
Because these traits are considered to make a black person selfish, but in a white person, these are positive traits. If a black queen spoke like Alaska, they would have been given the worst ever edit in the history of reality TV.
No, you were there to fucking kill it, win, slit their throats, throw their bodies on the river.
Yeah, I was. And the tantrum, it's like, I mean, that's actually who I am. The people close to me know. Right.
So I don't want us to get all comfortable because I'm really like trying to stay focused so I can win this thing.
And it's not just the black queens that fall foul of production stereotypes. While RuPaul is still God, one of the black judges realized he also had to be the right kind of black to appear on Drag Race.
That's not bad, but you gotta put some sass on it on the road. Oh, damn! I ain't having it.
Rawkins won't like that. That's no way to serve a julep. It's too fast. Julep, sir. Mass Rawkins, sir. All frosty and minty. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can have white men that behave like this on TV, but a gay black man just has to be sassy and not arrogant like an Englishman. When I heard Pangina Heels had been cast for a franchise, I was happy, but then I was concerned. While she's not black, she's still a person of colour. I thought she might be too talented and fierce for fragile Western sensibilities. I thought she might get a negative edit if she played anything but the help. Western media is not particularly comfortable with Asian people being centre of attention if white people are also present. Even Bruce Lee played the help or a chauffeur to a white man whose name I don't know. The fans may have given Pangina a hard time, but production didn't give her a bad edit based on how she interacted with their favourites.
I mean, that's bold. Ruth in the room. Girl, talk about confidence.
Create the rouging so that it's more beautiful, the drape.
Been giving me some amazing tips, so thank you, Pangina.
While Pangina took this in all good spirits and wanted to help her fellow sister and did not feel exploited, production would have loved her helping a white person.
Do you take MasterCard?
PayPal's fine.
Like Latrice, Pangina wasn't judged on her personality, she was judged on how useful she was to a white person. And that's the edit she got.
Seriously?
Pangina, your look is barely finished, I think. Well, Becca is literally staying in the middle of the room.
I've got owls, got an hot tub, I've got 2 Persian doll-faced pussies.
Going la la la, I'm Becca Chip.
People might say it's no big deal, but reverse the situation. if Pangina, an Asian queen, was standing in the middle of the room going, la la la, I'm Pangina, while Bag of Chips was working on her dress, Pangina would have to leave the country on a one-way ticket. We are now going to examine the story of Kornbread Part 1. Kornbread would be given an almost identical storyline to Latrice Royale in Season 4. Initial fear, but melting into love because Kornbread is the ideal black person to story producers. Again, it's based on what she can do for white people, not her particular personality traits. But before we go into Kornbread, I'm going to take a quick detour to Willow Pill. I really don't care what contestants sign to get on the show. Production should not be using people's medical conditions or disabilities as drama. Giving someone with chronic hand disabilities the task of opening a box for entertainment is like giving somebody on a walker a skipping rope and saying, skip, we want to see what happens. This is TV, this is drama. Production likes to hide behind the contract, but this is not an issue of legality. This is an issue of your own morals. Only sociopaths will be entertained. Back to Kornbread. Kornbread was given a great edit by production because she helped Willow Pill when she was suffering with her hands. But production can't help being production.
It's hard for me to use my fine motor skills. If you've ever been out when it's like negative 40 degrees,
So in their editing, they juxtaposed a person of colour being great against 3 people of colour not being so great. This has nothing to do with Willow and everything to do with story production that seem to think there is some unspoken rule that people of colour have to be help. To add insult to injury, they showed 3 random shots of Alyssa to reinforce she's a bad person of colour.
That's how I feel all the time.
Absolutely, baby. How's your hand feeling?
Kornbread can be whoever she wants to be. Alyssa can be whoever she wants to be. What I don't like is production trying to engineer what is an ideal person of colour and using this as a blueprint for all other people of colour. The public seem to have followed the production storyline and they absolutely adore Kornbread. However, they're adoring her for what she has done for Willow. While Kornbread is helpful, she's not the help.
You is important.
Today I'm walking a little bit slower. I kind of damaged my ankle during the acting challenge.
People seem to be more concerned that Kornbread is not there to help Willow than Kornbread being injured and not being able to compete in the competition in her own right.
I can't participate in challenges. I can't walk the runway. So that news was not fun to hear.
The storyline has twisted Kornbread's helpfulness as the help. So if she ever comes back and she shows anything other than the help, it will be seen as negative by production, therefore the audience. A beloved black queen and a beloved white queen are judged by different standards, not just by the audience, but initially by production, because they create the storyline.
All of you guys think that I'm like
that I'm like nothing.
I would never say that. Her interview was her look was her book cover was her trying to launch and sell her book to the judges was
Now AFAB women can join Drag Race. Can you imagine if those words came out of an AFAB black woman's mouth, what the fandom would do to her?
They were all smiling in my face at one point.
I never smiled in your face and I never hung out with you. So you can sit there and say that we were cool and we hung out. We never did. I don't care.
Your outside is gorgeous, Raven, but your insides are dark and nasty, and I don't like you.
Of course, a black person could have the same temperament as Raven, but they would not be beloved and they wouldn't get booked anywhere.
So there's something on my face.
Yeah. Pearl is treated like a god for standing up to RuPaul, even though it is RuPaul's show and RuPaul is Pearl's senior. Imagine if this had taken place with Tyra, now James, it would not have been seen as triumphant, it would have been seen as an act of defiance. People of colour being good because they are the help is not the way forward. Helpful, yes. The help, no. In the future, I would like to see story producers giving people of colour who have personalities like Raven, Alaska and Pearl positive edits.
I realized how severe it was until I went home. I'm like, this isn't gradually healing. Baby, I am in pain, miss.
If the first thing you think of when Kornbread says, I am in pain, oh dear, now she can't help Willow, you are not going forward, you are going backwards. And story producers need to stop creating these type of storylines.
Anchor.